There's something hauntingly beautiful about the way some stars leave this world, quietly, gracefully, without noise or spectacle. And that's exactly how Diane Keaton did it. For over 5 decades, Diane was a name that shimmered across Hollywood screens. She was quirky, brilliant, and unapologetically herself. And when she finally took her last bow, she left behind not just movies or awards, but a kind of authenticity that's almost extinct in today's celebrity world. She wasn't just an actress. She was the actress who changed what a leading woman could look like, sound like, and be. And her final days tell a story as honest and moving as her performances ever were. Diane Keaton passed away at the age of 79 in her California home, surrounded by family and close friends. There wasn't a media circus, no hospital photos, no intrusive headlines. Just a quiet confirmation from her loved ones, and a wave of sadness that rolled gently across the world. The news didn't break like an explosion. It spread like a whisper, slowly, painfully. On social media, fans posted her iconic movie clips, that signature smile, those oversized hats, and her laugh, the one that always made you feel like she truly meant it. In her last years, Diane had already stepped away from Hollywood's chaos. She preferred quiet mornings, long walks with her dog Reggie, and evenings spent reading or redesigning one of her many homes. She loved architecture and design, a passion she turned into an art form. Her houses were extensions of her soul, classic, slightly odd, but undeniably beautiful. Diane saw beauty in imperfection. She once said, "Broken things have stories to tell." That's exactly how she approached life, and maybe even her final days. She didn't dwell on what was ending. She celebrated what had been lived. Even into her 70s, she was active, doing photo shoots, giving witty interviews, posting about family and her beloved dog. And in 2024, she appeared in Summer Camp, her final film. The story was about rediscovering friendship, laughter, and purpose later in life. No one knew it would be her last performance, but watching it now, it feels like a farewell letter disguised as comedy. It was light, full of heart, and perfectly Diane. She didn't fade away suddenly. She drifted slowly and gracefully, living fully, quietly, and gratefully right up until the end. To understand Diane's final days, you have to look at the life that shaped her. Born in 1946 in Los Angeles, she grew up dreaming about the movies. But even as a young woman, she stood out, not because she tried to, but because she simply refused to conform. In an era where Hollywood expected women to be polished and perfect, Diane was proudly awkward, unpredictable, and deeply human. When she played Annie Hall in 1977, audiences didn't just see a character, they saw her. The oversized men's suits, the nervous laughter, the spontaneity. It was all Diane. And she didn't just act in Annie Hall, she lived it. The role earned her an Oscar and defined a generation of romantic comedies. Through the years, she worked with the best, Al Pacino, Jack Nicholson, Warren Beatty, Woody Allen. But she always kept a certain mystery about her. While others sought fame, Diane sought meaning. She once admitted she was terrified of marriage. That love to her was both beautiful and complicated. She never married, but she loved deeply, and later in life, she adopted 2 children, Dexter and Duke. Motherhood softened her in new ways. She called it the most humbling experience, saying it grounded her more than any award ever could. In interviews, she often reflected on time, loss, and aging, not with fear, but with humor and grace. She joked about wrinkles, joked about loneliness, but beneath the laughter was acceptance. She had made peace with her journey. When her mother, Dorothy, passed away from Alzheimer's, Diane wrote a memoir inspired by her mother's journals. It showed another side of her, vulnerable, reflective, and deeply sentimental. She was a caretaker, a daughter, a sister, roles that mattered far more to her than Hollywood titles. Her brother Randy struggled with mental health issues for years, and Diane remained close to him until his passing in 2021. She often said she felt lucky for her family, her children, her career, and most of all, lucky for the chance to create. Diane's later life was filled with small joys, cooking, decorating, photography, and of course, those endless hats that became her signature. She once said, "I wear them because they make me feel protected." Maybe that was part of the magic. She was open and vulnerable, yet guarded in her own quiet way. In a world obsessed with youth, Diane embraced age like an old friend. She celebrated it. Wrinkles, gray hair, all of it. She often laughed about how Hollywood wanted her to stay young forever, and her response was simple. Why would I want to erase my story from my face? When she passed, Hollywood didn't just lose an actress. It lost a symbol of authenticity. Directors called her fearless. Actors called her brilliant. Fans called her real. Bette Midler called her a once-in-a-lifetime soul. Hundreds of tributes poured in, not just from stars, but from fans who felt like they knew her. Because Diane Keaton never built a wall between herself and her audience. She lived her truth, awkward, funny, unfiltered, and that's what made her unforgettable. Today, when people revisit her films, they don't just see performances. They see a woman growing, evolving, and staying human through every decade. From The Godfather's quiet heartbreak to Something's Gotta Give's late-life romance. Every role was a mirror of who she was at that moment. And maybe that's why her death feels so personal. She didn't just act, she shared herself. Her final days, though private, seemed peaceful. No chaos, no drama, just the kind of silence she often said she loved. The kind that lets you hear your own thoughts. Friends say she spent her last week surrounded by her children, laughing, reminiscing, and listening to old jazz records. There's something beautiful about that, the idea of a woman who gave so much of herself to the world finally getting to rest in calm. Diane Keaton's story is more than a Hollywood tale. It's a human one. It's about choosing authenticity over approval. It's about aging with grace instead of fear. And it's about realizing that a meaningful life doesn't always need a grand ending. Because sometimes the quietest goodbyes are the most powerful ones. Even now, her films keep playing, her laughter still echoes, her words still inspire. She may have left this world quietly, but her legacy will never fade. Diane Keaton wasn't just an actress. She was a mirror for anyone who's ever felt different, imperfect, or beautifully human. Her story reminds us that it's okay to live life at your own pace, love deeply, and laugh loudly, right until the end. If Diane Keaton's story moved you, take a moment to hit that like button. It really helps more people find stories like this. And if you want to keep celebrating the lives of legends who shaped our world, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a story. This channel is where real stories live on, told with heart, honesty, and respect. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep finding beauty in imperfection, just like Diane did.